Hey everyone, and welcome to this deep dive all about AI and photography. Looks like you guys sent in a really interesting mix of stuff for this one. Everything from technical how-to guides to some pretty strong opinions about AI. Even some marketing materials for these new AI photo tools. So I'm curious, have you ever wondered how much AI is already affecting the photos that we see online, or even the ones we're taking ourselves?
It's funny you should mention that because, yeah, it's kind of crazy how much AI is already doing behind the scenes without us even realizing it.
Totally. I mean, one of the articles you sent in talked about this AI called Narrative Select. If you ever, spend an hour or more just going through hundreds of pictures, trying to pick out the best ones, after a big shoot or something.
Yeah, definitely.
So this AI, it can analyze your photos for you. And actually pick out the best ones in seconds. It can tell if a photo is in focus. It even checks to see if everyone's eyes are open.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. And what's really cool is how this impacts both professional photographers and people who are just starting out.
Oh.
Well, for pros, it means that they can spend way less time on those kind of boring and repetitive tasks. And more time actually being creative,
Yeah.
And for beginners, I mean, this AI can help them get results that they might not have been able to achieve on their own before.
Right. It's suddenly everyone has access to this pro-level photo editing help. So it's kind of leveling the playing field in a way. Okay, I'm definitely starting to see why people are so excited about this. But, it's clear from the sources you sent that AI in photography goes way beyond just these time-saving tricks, We're not just talking about fancy Instagram filters here.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We're talking about some pretty powerful, actual technical capabilities.
Yeah, exactly. One thing that really jumped out at me was AI-powered upscaling.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Have you ever tried to, enlarge a photo and it just gets all blurry and pixelated?
Ugh, yeah, all the time.
So AI can actually take a small, low-resolution image and make it bigger and sharper without losing any quality.
It's pretty amazing when you think about it.
Right. It's mind-blowing. And that means you can print, really high-quality photos from, even a tiny image file.
Exactly.
Or you share them online without them looking all grainy. Okay. And, get this, there's even an AI that can, it can analyze a photographer's style.
Yeah.
And then apply those same edits to other photos.
Really?
Yeah. With, 90% accuracy.
Wow, that's crazy. So it's AI is moving beyond just basic adjustments, and it's starting to actually understand and even replicate the artistic choices that a human photographer would make.
Right. It's almost like AI is becoming a student of photography in a way. But it also makes you wonder, does that mean it's also kind of devaluing the skills of, actual photographers?
That's a really good question, and it's something that a lot of photographers are thinking about right now.
Yeah, for sure.
But the interesting thing is that a lot of the sources you sent, they actually see AI as changing how photographers use their skills, not replacing them altogether,
I see what you mean.
It's think of it this way. AI can handle those more technical tasks, like getting the perfect exposure, and that frees up photographers to focus on their unique vision and creativity.
So instead of worrying about all the technical stuff, you can spend more time capturing the emotion of a moment or composing a really beautiful shot.
Exactly. And what's even more interesting is that AI's role isn't limited to just post-production anymore.
Oh, really? What do you mean?
It's actually starting to change how photos are taken.
You mean right there in the camera?
Yeah, exactly. One of the sources you shared, it was originally in Swedish, actually. It describes how AI can help photographers create certain effects that used to require a ton of skill or really expensive equipment.
Oh, you mean that blurry background effect bokeh?
Yeah, bokeh, exactly.
I've always loved that look.
Yeah.
But I could never quite figure out how to get it with my camera.
Right. Well, imagine your camera can. It can use AI to analyze the scene and then help you get that perfect bokeh, even if you don't have a professional grade lens.
Wow, that would be amazing.
Right. It's like having this secret weapon right there in your camera. And it's not just bokeh either. AI can also, it can analyze the light in real time and help you get the perfect exposure every time, which is really helpful for beginners.
So it's the camera is making decisions on the fly based on what the AI is telling it.
Exactly.
That's pretty incredible. But doesn't that kind of blur the line between taking a photo and making a photo?
It totally does. And it raises some really interesting questions about what photography even is when technology starts to play such a big role in the process?
That's a really deep question.
Mm-hmm.
And it's definitely something we need to keep thinking about as we continue to explore this whole world of AI and photography. Because, AI can do so much more than just be a helpful assistant or like a fancy camera trick. It can actually be used to create images entirely from scratch, which is sparking a whole new debate about, creativity and what it means to be a photographer.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the most, I guess you could say, controversial and fascinating aspects of AI in photography. And I'm really looking forward to getting into that with you.
So, okay, we've talked about how AI can help us edit photos, make decisions while we're actually out shooting, and even like learn our editing styles. But where it really starts to like blow my mind is this whole idea of AI, actually generating images like from scratch.
Yeah, that's definitely a whole other level, isn't it? It's like AI is going from being a helpful assistant in the darkroom to being like an artist itself.
Right. And some of these sources you sent talk about AI being able to create like super realistic backgrounds or even composing entire images in all these different artistic styles. It makes you wonder, like, where does photography even end and digital art begin?
That's the million-dollar question right there. And some of these articles, they get really deep into this debate. And I don't think there's an easy answer.
No, for sure.
Because, like, some people say that these AI-generated images, they can't be considered true photography. It's because there's no camera involved. There's no, like, capturing of light from the real world.
It really makes you think about, like, what is photography? Is it about the tools we use? Is it about the process? Or is it about the, like, final image and what it's trying to say?
Exactly. And that's what makes this whole conversation so interesting, Because, like, what if AI can create images that are totally indistinguishable from a photo taken by a human? Does it even matter how it was created?
Yeah. Good point. So, okay, how are actual photographers, like, reacting to all this? Are they, excited about these possibilities? Or are they kind of, like, threatened?
Honestly, I think it's a mix of both. Some of the sources you sent in, they talk about photographers who are, embracing AI image generation, and they see it as this new tool for expressing themselves, like a way to explore ideas they might not have been able to before.
Yeah, I can definitely see how it would be exciting to, like, have a tool that could bring your wildest visual ideas to life. But are there any, like, concerns about AI, taking away from the skill and craft of, like, traditional photography?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's definitely a worry that AI could, like, diminish the value of human-created photography, One of the articles you sent actually talks about the fear of jobs being lost.
Yeah.
And the idea that, like, if anyone can just create a perfect image with AI, then maybe human photography will, like, become less special.
Right. Those are definitely valid concerns. It's kind of like, like with any new technology, right, there's always potential for, both good and bad. But I think it's important to remember that at the end of the day, AI is just a tool. And it's up to us, the humans, to decide how to use it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And it kind of goes back to what we were talking about before, Just because AI can do something, it doesn't mean it should, like, completely replace human creativity and decision-making.
So maybe it's not about, like, AI versus humans, but about how we can use AI to, to enhance our own creativity and maybe even push ourselves to be more creative.
Exactly. And I think a good way to start doing that is to, start exploring these different AI tools that are out there. You actually sent some really interesting stuff about specific tools, which I think would be helpful for anyone who's, like, looking to actually get started using AI in their photography.
Well, yeah, I was actually surprised by, like, how many different tools there are. It's kind of overwhelming, actually. There's, AI-powered versions of, like, a classic software like Adobe Lightroom, and then there's all these completely new platforms like Luminar Neo and Skylum AI.
Yeah.
It seems like there's an AI for, like, every single part of photography.
Yeah, pretty much. And the great thing is that there are tools for, like, every level of experience. So it doesn't matter if you're a seasoned pro or just starting out. There's an AI tool out there that can help you, take your photos to the next level.
So, okay, let's say, like, I want to try out some of these tools.
Yeah.
Where do I even begin?
Well, I guess it depends on what you're trying to do. Like, some tools are really great for enhancing image quality. Like Topaz Labs is really good for things like noise reduction and sharpening.
All right, cool.
And then others are more specialized. Like Pixel Cut is designed for product photography.
Yeah.
And it can do things like remove the background from an image automatically.
Wow, that's pretty handy. It really does feel like uh, a whole new world of possibilities. But with all this talk about technology, it's easy to forget, like, that photography is still about capturing moments, telling stories, expressing yourself.
Oh, absolutely. That's what it's all about in the end, right? And I think that's why it's so important to remember that these AI tools, they're just tools. They can help us achieve our creative goals.
Yeah.
But they shouldn't like dictate what those goals are. You know, it's still the human element, that vision behind the photograph. That's what makes a photo truly powerful and memorable.
That's a really good reminder. It's so easy to, like, get caught up in the hype of new technology and forget about, the heart of what makes photography so special.
Yeah, for sure. And as we keep exploring this intersection of AI and photography, I think it's important to keep that in mind. You know, AI can definitely push us to be more creative, to experiment with new ideas, and to think differently about, like, what's even possible. But it's still up to us, the humans behind the lens, to make sure that technology is serving our creative vision and not the other way around.
So, okay, where do we go from here? Like, what's the next step in this whole evolution of AI and photography?
Well, that's the exciting part. We don't know for sure. AI is, like, constantly changing and evolving, and it's really impossible to predict what's going to happen next. But I have a feeling it's going to be pretty wild.
Yeah, I'm both excited and a little nervous to see where this all goes. Man, we've covered a lot of ground, haven't we?
Yeah, we have.
My brain is kind of overloaded with all this AI stuff now. It feels like we just, like, scratched the surface. But it's clear that AI can do so much in photography.
It really is amazing. And I think, like, the more you learn about it, the more you realize just how many possibilities there are.
You know, going back to all the sources you sent, one thing that really stood out to me was just how many different opinions there are about AI and photography. Like, some people are so excited about it, and others are, kind of worried about what it all means. Where do you stand on all of this?
Honestly, I'm kind of right there with them. Like, sometimes I'm super pumped about all the possibilities, and then other times I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. What are they, what are the downsides here? But I think it's probably somewhere in between,
Right. It's not all good or all bad. It's like with any new tool, right? It really comes down to how we use it.
I think that's a really good way to put it.
One thing that really resonated with me was this idea that AI shouldn't, like, replace human creativity, but rather it should enhance it.
Yeah, I like that.
It's like giving a painter, a whole new set of brushes, or giving a musician a new instrument.
Oh, I like that analogy.
It doesn't change their, like, artistic vision.
Yeah.
But it gives them all these new ways to express it.
Yeah, and I think that applies to, like, pretty much every aspect of AI in photography, Whether it's using AI to help us edit photos faster, or to, make better decisions while we're shooting, or even to, like, create these entirely new images from scratch. The key is to remember that AI is a tool. It's there to help us, you know, but we shouldn't let it take over.
Totally. So I guess, like, the big question now is, what does all of this mean for the future of photography?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It really is.
It's hard to say for sure. AI is changing so fast, it's impossible to predict exactly what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
But one thing's for sure, it's going to be really interesting to watch it all unfold.
It definitely is. Well, hey, maybe in a few years we'll do another deep dive on this and see, how things have changed.
I'd love that.
And who knows, maybe by then AI will be able to host the podcast for us.
But for now, I think it's time for us to sign off. To everyone listening, thank you so much for joining us on this journey into the world of AI and photography. If this deep dive has, sparked your interest, I encourage you to explore some of the tools we mentioned, experiment with AI in your own photography, and maybe even share your thoughts with us. We're always curious to hear what you guys are thinking. Until next time, happy shooting.